Once again, a very warm welcome to one and all watching this video. I'm Professor M.S. Patil, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, Karmavir Advocate Baburao Ganpatrao Thakre College of Engineering, Nasik. Today I'm going to continue the lecture of Design of Machine Elements, Part 2. In the previous lecture, we have seen what is the design procedure, what is the definition of design, what are the terms involved in the design, what are the different steps, and how to design the individual components, and what are the considerations in the design. Now today we will see what are the learning objectives of this particular session. Right? Today we are going to first study about the preferred sizes and the preferred series. Then we are going to study about the importance of factor of safety in the design, what is factor of safety, and how to determine the magnitude of factor of safety. Then we are going to study about service factor or application factor and its importance. And finally, we are going to study about the standards, how to use the standards in the design. Now, starting with the preferred sizes or the preferred numbers. Now, what exactly are the preferred sizes or the preferred numbers? Right? Many times a designer has to specify the sizes of the products. For example, if we are talking about a manufacturer which is manufacturing refrigerators in different capacities. Capacities in the sense where we are talking the capacity of the refrigerator in terms of its volume. It is 165 liters, 200 liter, 230 liter, and so on. Again, taking the example of electric motor, then the power of electric motor is either 0.5 HP, 1 HP, 2 HP, 3 HP, 5 HP, and so on. So how we are going to decide the sizes of these products? These sizes of the products are defined based on the preferred numbers. And these preferred numbers are given by a French balloonist and engineer named Charles Renard, who first introduced these preferred numbers in the 19th century. The system is based on the use of geometric progression to develop a set of numbers. He has given us 5 basic series as R5, R10, R20, R40, and R80 series to determine the numbers in the series, to determine rather the sizes of the product. Okay, so according to him, there are 5 basic series: R5, R10, R20, R40, and R80. So first of all, we are calculating the series factor for this series. Series factor for each series, say if it is R5 series, then it is calculated as 5th root of 10. So we'll get 1.58. In the similar manner, if it is R20 series, then 20th root of 10. If it is R80 series, then 80th root of 10. Right? So there will be increment in R5 series as 58%, R10 series 26%, 12%, 6%, and 3% in the products in the respective series. So how to develop a series? For the development of the series, first we are taking first number, then the second number is obtained by multiplying the series factor with the first number, and second number is obtained. Third number will be obtained by multiplying the series factor with the second number. Fourth number will obtained by multiplying series factor with the third number, and so on the series will be obtained. Right? One thing always should be always kept in mind, that the resultant numbers after each series should be rounded. I can elaborate this with the help of an example. Say we have to find out the numbers of R5 basic series starting from 1 to 10. So first number is 1 and the last number is 10. Then we have to build a R5 basic series. Okay. So first of all, we will find out the series factor. Series factor for R5 basic series is 5th root of 10. So we'll get 1.5849. Taking the first number as 1. Okay. Then second number will be obtained by multiplying this series factor 1.5849 with this one. Second number will be obtained and it will be round up. Third number will be obtained by multiplying 1.6 with 1.5849, or rather the number which was without round up 1.5849 with this series factor, and we can obtain the third number. It comes out to be 2.51. It is rounded to 2.5. Fourth number will be obtained by multiplying 2.5 with 1.549 and then rounding up, and so on. We can obtain the different numbers. Obviously, in R5 series, the last number will be 10 because we are calculating numbers from 1 to 10. In this way, we can build a series, any series. If we're talking about R10 series, right, from 1 to 10, then we will get 10 plus 1 number. As in case of R5 basic series, we have got 6 numbers, 5 plus 1. In R10 series, we will get 10 plus 1. In R20 series, we will get 20 plus 1, and so on. So these are the preferred sizes and the preferred numbers. And the most important term in the design is factor of safety. Factor of safety is kept by the designers in order to provide sufficient reserve strength if some accidents happen. That means we are trying to be always on the safer side by providing this factor of safety. We don't want to fill our product far earlier than it's predicted, like, so we are providing factor of safety. Factor of safety is generally defined as the ratio of failure stress to allowable stress. Failure stress is the strength of the materials. If it is a ductile material, then failure stress will be SYT, yield stress. If it is a brittle material, then the failure stress will be SUT. Right? And the allowable stress are nothing but the working stress, right? Can be calculated by dividing failure stress by factor of safety, and we can obtain for ductile and brittle materials the values of the allowable stress. Allowable stress will be failure stress upon factor of safety. The failure stress in case of ductile material is yield stress. In case of brittle material is ultimate stress. In this way, we can define the value of factor of safety and calculate the values of allowable stresses. Then the most important question is how to decide the magnitude of factor of safety. The magnitude of factor of safety depends on various factors, right? First factor is uncertainty in the magnitude of external force acting on the component. If we are not sure about the exact magnitude of external force acting on the component, then we have to opt for higher factor of safety. Variations in the properties of materials like yield strength or ultimate strength. If the properties are varying, then go for higher factor of safety. Type of load. If the type of load is static, lesser factor of safety. If it is fluctuating or impact load, then higher factor of safety. Because in case of static load, failure can be predicted, but in case of fluctuating and impact load, it becomes quite difficult to predict the failure. So higher factor of safeties are necessary. Effect of failure. To what extent the losses will be due to the effect of failure? Losses can be human losses, losses can be economic losses. If the losses are more, as in case of boilers or pressure vessels, in case of accident of boilers or pressure vessels, right, then the losses will be more to human life as well as the economical losses. So in case of boilers, right, we have to keep factor of safety very large. Material of component. If it is ductile material, then lower factor of safety. If it is brittle material, higher factor of safety. Reliability of component. If reliability desired is more, higher factor of safety. If reliability desired is less, lower factor of safety. Cost of component. Now, cost of component can be related to weight. Weight can be related to dimensions, and dimensions can be related to factor of safety. More factor of safety means more strong element. More strong element means more dimensions. More dimensions means more weight. More weight means more cost. So cost governs the value of factor of safety. Testing of machine elements. If it is possible to test the machine elements prior to the manufacturing, then factor of safety can be taken less. Service conditions. To which service conditions the materials are subjected to. For example, if they are subjected to corrosive environment, marine environment, then factor of safety should be more. Quality of manufacture. If the quality of manufacture, surface finish obtained is quite good, then factor of safety can be taken less. So this was related to factor of safety. Next factor is service factor or application factor or also it is called as overload factor. It is Ka. Right? See, when we are calculating the power of an electric motor, then the formula for calculating the power is 2 pi nt upon 60, where T is the average torque. So power is calculated on the basis of average torque, right? But many a times, generally at the starting, the machine tool requires maximum torque and not average torque for some period of time. If this can be explained with the help of a graph. Let's see here, on y-axis it is maximum, it is torque, and on x-axis it is time. So for some period of time, the requirement of torque is more because the inertia forces has to be overcome, right? Therefore, at the time of starting, torque required is more, and for the rest period of time, for the rest period of cycle, the required torque is less. So we have to think about this maximum torque. We can obtain this maximum torque with the help of this service factor. We are multiplying average torque with the service factor to obtain the maximum torque. Okay, so we are defining the service factor or application factor or overload factor, right, as the ratio of maximum torque to average torque, and mathematically it is Ka, T max upon T average, or T max is equal to Ka into T average. And how to determine the value of this service factor? Service factor mainly depends on two things: the type of prime mover and the type of driven machine. Prime mover can be electric motor, it can be an internal combustion engine, or it can be a turbine. Prime mover is nothing but the driving machine. And the driven machine, second factor, driven machine can be anything, right? It can be a generator, it can be a stone crusher, it can be a printing press, it can be a lathe machine, anything. So the shocks coming on these machines are different. The shocks can be categorized as light shocks, medium shocks, and heavy shocks. So depending on these conditions, we have to select the proper value of this service factor. Last is the use of standards in design. Now, to understand standards, we have to first talk about standardization. Standardization is defined as obligatory norms to which various characteristics of product should conform. These characteristics includes materials, dimensions and shape of the component, method of testing and method of marking, packing and storing of the product. According to Bureau of Indian Standards, right, there are certain codes or certain standards for everything. Say for materials, right? Materials can be designated according to their strength or according to their chemical composition. So in IS 210, the strength of the machine elements can be of the material can be given. Say if it is FG150, it means ferroalloy gray cast iron with ultimate tensile strength of 150 Newton per mm square. FG200 means ferroalloy gray cast iron, 200 Newton per mm square. So strength is given according to this standard. In this standard IS 570 part 4, we can designate the materials with the help of chemical composition. 55C3, it's a steel, 0.55% of carbon and 3% of chromium. Second standard is related to shapes and dimensions of commonly used machine elements. For example, if we are talking about the dimensions of V-welds, V-weld cross section is generally trapezoidal. So trapezium has top width, bottom width, angle, and height. So we can obtain for various cross sections these dimensions with the help of this IS code, IS 2494. Similarly, for standard, there are standards for fits, tolerances, and surface finish of components. We already earlier studied what are the different types of fits, what are the tolerances, dimensional tolerances, geometrical tolerances, and the surface finish values. So we can find these values of fit, tolerances, and surface finish in this particular IS codes. IS 2709 is for fit, IS 919 is for tolerances, and IS 1079 is for the surface textures and surface finishes. There are standards for testing of products. For example, pressure vessels, they are tested according to this IS codes, IS 2825. There is a proper procedure given in this IS code to test the pressure vessels. Okay, then there are certain standards for engineering drawing also. SP46 is one of the Bureau of Indian standards for engineering drawing. So these are the different standards used for different things, right? Then there are certain standards which are used in the design office, basically three. There are company standards, national standards, international standards. In the previous slides, we were talking about Bureau of Indian Standards, IS. Okay, so IS, Bureau of Indian Standard, or BIS, it is a national standard which is used by India. DIN is one of the standard which is used in Germany. ASME is one of the standard which is used in United States. Right? Similarly, there are standards which are internationally accepted, international standards. One is ISO, International Standard Organization. And similarly, there can be standards used for service in company. They are called as company standards or service standards. So these are different standards used in design office. Thank you. Thank you for listening this video. In the next video, we will be talking about the different types of stresses acting on the mechanical components. Stresses are very important, and how to determine the dimensions with the help of these stresses will be seen in the next video. Thank you for watching it patiently. Good day for now.